During a conversation at home, Judas spoke with enthusiasm about the flaws in the governance of the people, and increasingly impassioned, speculated about the possibility of a revolution in Jerusalem. The Lord, however, commented very calmly. Long ago, there was a king considered cruel by the people of his land, to such an extent that the kingdom's chief prophet was invited to lead a widespread rebellion to remove him from the throne. At first, the prophet did not believe the public accusations, but the crowd insisted. The king is hard-hearted, a wicked master who persecutes, usurps, and torments his subjects on every side, they cried without restraint. Thus the well-meaning prophet grew inflamed as well, and accepted the idea of revolution as the only natural remedy. Quietly, he organized the movement with a few hundred determined and courageous companions. On the eve of the uprising, however, trusting deeply in God, he climbed a mountaintop and prayed with such fervor for divine guidance that a heavenly angel was sent to commune with him, spirit to spirit. In the presence of the sublime messenger, the prophet voiced his accusations against the king, claiming all he had heard, and begged for divine approval of the revolutionary plan. The messenger acknowledged his sincerity, listened patiently, and explained, "In the name of the Supreme Lord, your plan will be approved, but on one condition. You must live with the king for 100 consecutive days in his palace, serving humbly and faithfully. If, after that time, your conscience remains committed to the same purpose, then you shall destroy his throne with our support." The honest leader accepted and fulfilled the directive. Simple and sincere, he entered the royal household, where he gained access to cleaning duties and placed himself in the role of a lowly servant. Yet as soon as he began to serve the monarch, he noticed the king never had a moment for even the smallest pleasures of life. He awoke surrounded by insistent advisors and ministers, was overwhelmed by hundreds of complaints each hour. As a father, he was deprived of his children's affection. As a husband, he lived far from his companion. Moreover, he was frequently forced to sacrifice his health for endless banquets and ceremonies, where he was compelled to listen to every sort of falsehood from flattering and ungrateful subjects. He never slept or ate at proper hours, and wherever he went, he had to weigh every word he spoke. His spirit was forbidden any sincere expression of life, stifled by the need for constant pretense. The people's guide began to see that the ruler resembled more a slave than a sovereign, harshly condemned to serve without rest, in utter spiritual solitude. The king, he saw, didn't even enjoy the ease of communion with God through simple prayer. When the appointed time ended, the prophet, now profoundly changed, returned to the mountain to fulfill his vow. As the angel appeared during his prayers, he begged for mercy on behalf of the king, for whom he now felt deep compassion. Then, gathering the people, he announced to his fellow revolutionaries that the sovereign was perhaps the most tormented man in the entire kingdom. Rather than rebellion, he said, what they truly needed was greater understanding and constructive labor, each in their rightful place, so that the king, so enslaved and burdened, might fulfill his high calling without catastrophe. And so rebellion was transformed into understanding and service. Judas, disappointed, seemed ready to make a cynical remark, but the divine master spoke first, sharply. Revolution is always the tragic deception of those who seek to seize another scepter. When each servant understands the duty entrusted to them in life's design, there is no room for rebellion nor time for insubordination.